Now, in my final presentation on the fifth slide, I have this animated sequence that's a little more advanced. So let's watch this real quick. So these are all on-click events. So the title comes in, and then I click once for each of these bullet points. And then I have this bored-looking woman, and then I have some text come in. How can you turn this? And then I have another image come in, and another text box come in. So let me recreate that in our other one. First of all, remember in the final I had colored some of these, and again, I think this is good to do. You can use the theme colors of your theme. I think the orange looks good. Again, double click and highlight some of these words, and that'll really call that out. Now, I just copy pasted these images in, so we're going to assume that you've already found these images, and I'm going to move these text boxes around. So the first thing I want to animate actually is this. So I want to animate this bullet series. So I'm going to go to my animations, and I'm going to add an animation, and I'm going to float these in. Okay. And this is on click, and this is on click, and that one is also on click. Okay, so if any time when you play these, obviously they work, and you can also go to slideshow from current slide and test it out there. Okay, so next thing I want to do is bring this person in. Okay, so right now this photo is on the screen, but I don't want it to be there. So I'm going to go to animations, and I need to use one of these entrance ones. So I think that I used the split before, so I'm going to split her in, and then I want to bring in this text box. So again, I need to do add an animation. Maybe I'll just fade in that text. Okay, and these are all on clicks by default. All right, so this one I actually could bring in after the previous. So let me see. First, I get my little bullets, and then I get her on a click, and then that follows it. All right, so next I want to bring this one in. So let me put this exactly over the top. Okay, and I'm going to add an animation, and I'm going to split this one in as well. Okay, and that's going to be an on click because I got to be at the point where I'm talking about that. And then I will bring in this text box, and let's add an animation to that, and let's float that one in, but I want that to go automatically, so I'm going to start that after the previous. Okay, so let's see how we did. Let's go to the slideshow and do from the current slide. Alright, so I'm going to click on each of these, and then I'm going to click for the first one, and then the words came in automatically, and then I'm going to click again, and then the words come in automatically after that. Okay, so that's how you can do a little fancier sequence of animations. So on a lot of these slides I have some real subtle animation, and I can show you here in the animation pane that these, the first one starts on a click, and then this starts after previous, and this one starts after previous. So when I'm done talking about this, I click on it, and then they just come in 1, 2, 3. This is another one of those smart art objects, and again I animated this one. If I go, let's see, if I go to the effect options on the smart art, I have this again coming in one by one. So if I play this again, you can see those are coming in from the right. Again, on slide 9, I just have the text coming in, and again, I mix it up. So this one, if you look at these objects, they're coming in each on a click because I wanted to control the speed. You can set these things up to automatically come in all over the place if you want. You can time them and so forth, but this is pretty short. Again, this one looks very complicated because it's got all these pieces, right? It's got pictures, and it has these rounded rectangle items, and it has this arrow. So it looks like a lot, but it really wasn't that bad. I just told it to come in one at a time, and it automatically created this animation, which looks very slick. Now on slide 26, this is where I talk about animations, and I have some really crazy animations that I've put in here to show that if you put too many, it gets kind of crazy. One of the other things I mentioned are transitions in my final presentation, and they can be found under the Transitions tabs. And what transitions are, they are the animations that are between slides. So I had one called Rotate on this one. There are a bunch of different ones. Again, if you hover on them or you click on them, they should show you what that would look like. Okay, so you could apply different transitions to each of the slides. They could be different in between, or you could do the same on all of them, and some of them are pretty cool. Like this gallery one is pretty neat. So if you want the same for all of the slides, find the one you want and then click this Apply to All. Now if I go to presentation mode from the beginning, all right, and then I click on it, you can see that's what these transitions, slide transitions are. They're between the slides. So you can have your animations, and then when ready to go to the next slide, you have whatever transition that you chose. The last thing that I'm going to show you is the guides in arranging. So if you go under View, you can turn on some guides and rulers and stuff. So there's the guides, that's these crosshairs on here. And I like to turn those on by default, so I just sort of know where the middle of my presentation is. You can also turn on the grid lines, which creates a grid for lining stuff up, but to me that's a little too much. You can also turn on the rulers on either side, so you can line things up that way. One of the most important tools that I use is the aligning tool. So let's say that I've got these squares and I'm trying to line them up, and it's kind of hard to do. It would be really tough to get them perfect. Now when I move these around, you can see these little dotted lines pick up, and they're pretty good, but it's not quite right. So what you do is, if I want to line these three boxes up, I click on the first one, hold the Shift key down, and click on the other two. Then I go to Drawing Tools and go to this little thing, this Align function. I'm going to align those left. You see they all shifted a little bit. I'm going to do the same for this. Shift, click, click, go up here, and I'm going to align these left, right? Then these I can align at the top, and these I can align at the top. These I can align at the top. Now, they look pretty even, but if they're not, you can highlight a column and go to Distribute Vertically. Okay, and that's going to distribute the space in between. Let's say if this one was way up here. So if I did this, I could distribute vertically, and the spaces would be the same in between. But that's not going to help us line up those, since those are aligned at the top. So there's different ways to align elements on the page. If I want to align this, you can also group things. So let's say I want to group this together. I'm going to highlight all of them and right-click and do Group and then Group. Now this is one object. Now I can move it around like one object. So if I want to align that and that, then I can go up to Arrange, Align, Top, and they'll align at the top. So that's a great thing to do at the very end if you have elements on your page that need to line up with each other. Use the tools. They're a lot easier than trying to eyeball it. So again, thank you for watching this video, and if you have any other questions, please contact me. This is my phone number and email address, and these presentations can be found on the link at the bottom. Thank you very much.